As of right now, Joe Lunardi has them in the safe zone, not on the bubble, but still probably looking for a few more wins to secure an NCAA tournament place.
From the jump, Chucky, Norchad Omier. Baylor comes out in zone. Norchad Omier has to stay out of foul trouble. He is their 5. He's not even a true 5, but he has to stay out of foul trouble.
Here's Javon Small, the second leading scorer in the Big 12. Top 3 in assists per game, points per game, and minutes per game. And that's a first possession turnover against the Mountaineers.
Scott Drew coming out in zone because West Virginia is not known to be a three-point shooting team, only shooting around 32% from 3 on the year. They have a lot of guys who struggle from behind the arc, but they have to know where Powell and Small is at all times.
West Virginia, no stranger to injury issues as well. Tucker DeVries out for the rest of the season. Hasn't played since early December, but officially now out for the rest of the year. Here's Omier, one of his first touches, and he scores.
And that's a matchup that I think Baylor can really attack. When you look at Omier versus Hansberry, Hansberry is more of a pick-and-pop forward that will play the 5 for them. But defensively, he's not as good as Andre off of the bench.
It's an interesting matchup because West Virginia hasn't been a great rebounding team this season. On the other side, Baylor has been great on the offensive glass, but they are playing small now with the injury to Josh Ojonwuna. That goes out of play. It'll be Baylor basketball. So the glass of the utmost importance today for these two teams as you look at Scott Drew in year 22. You can say he built this place that we're in right now, along with a fantastic women's program, but a building that is fit for champions. There's Langston Love. They are very happy to have him back and healthy. It's been a struggle for him over his career to stay that way. VJ Edgecombe, first shot too strong. Poked out by Celestine. Omier back to work. Hansberry got him with the body. DeVries in year 1 at West Virginia. It's really stability that he has offered that program after a tough season last year and an identity this year to go with it that has been all about defense. He's shown his adaptability, though, when you talk about missing a guy like Tucker DeVries, who would be their second leading scorer.
100%. He's found a way, and I think that's what both coaches have done. They have taken what has been given to them and found a way to have success. And you speaking of success, Toby Akani, 16 points and 5 rebounds last game, picking up where he left off. He is more than capable. He sees one go in, you can be in for a long night.
Hasn't shot it great from 3, but that's a good sign for Akani. Long step by Edgecombe out to his freshman running mate, Robert Wright, who was in the gym early this morning, getting plenty of work in, knocking down his first 3.
Well, that's where he's starting to look more comfortable, Chucky. Shooting 44 from 3 in the last 3 games. He is looking more comfortable behind the arc.
Hansberry inside. Harris, a nice finish off the glass.
West Virginia early on doing a really good job of getting the ball to the middle of the zone. That is the weak spot in this zone. When you get into the mid-paint area, the free throw area, good things happen for you offensively.
West Virginia's Illinois transfer duo connecting. Celestine's 3 is no good. Here comes Harris. Small wants it on this near side.
Go check.
Akani. Javon Small has really played the facilitator the last 2 games, Kings. Teams have been all over him. He's only taken 9 total shots in the last 2 games. Another sloppy turnover from West Virginia.
Right there, you see Sincere Harris getting on Hansberry, telling him to run. Hansberry had the angle. He really should have had that layup, but Sincere Harris could have thrown a better pass, but he is absolutely right. In transition against a really good Baylor team, you have to be able to capitalize on those fast break opportunities.
Joseph Yesufu out there for West Virginia. He's had some really big moments for the Mountaineers this year. 18 at Colorado to help them get that road win.
Playing his best basketball of his career, averaging 13 points in the last 4, and You talk about a guy who's playing at an extremely high level. I mean, Langston Love in the last 2 games is averaging 15 points. He has looked really, really well coming off the injury. He's confident and he's shooting it better than ever.
This is his 3rd game back. He's missed 14 games this year. Baylor's to the point now, King, where they cannot handle any more injuries. Omer went out and then came back in and grabbed it. Turnover against the Bears, up 3 early on.
Langston Love letting it go from deep, and I know that Scott Drew absolutely loves that.
Bears up 3 early on the Mountaineers. Both of these teams just trying to secure their spot in the NCAA tournament. Baylor in a really good spot right now, 26th in the net. Currently, Joe Lunardi has them as a 9 seed, so still need to finish strong throughout this season, but it's just a totally different look, almost a fresh start for Baylor. When you look at the injury issues, you dealt with that actually when you were here as a senior. Tristan Clark goes down with a knee injury. They lose the first game after that. That year it was to Kansas, this year to Houston, but rattled off 6 straight after that. What were the things that were preached to you in that small ball lineup?
Well, it's all about player leadership. I mean, player-led teams are teams that are most successful. So it's a matter of the players coming together and saying, hey, I know that we lost a big. That's what we did my senior year. I know that we lost Tristan Clark, arguably our best player, but how do we gel together and band together to win games and to finish our season off strong? And that's what it boils down to for Baylor.
You played a little 4 that year, didn't you?
I did play the 4. I was a very undersized 4.
Yesufu, contact, and he'll have 3 free throws after Nunn commits the foul.
And not a smart foul right there by Nunn. But the way that Yesufu has been playing, the way he's been shooting the basketball, and you have to close out hard, but you can't be overly aggressive. You see he hits him on the arm or hits him on the wrist. Right there, great call.
Yesufu familiar with his head coach, Darren DeVries. Started his career at Drake, spent 2 years there with DeVries before moving to Washington State last year, and now they reunite at Drake. Also a stop at Kansas in the middle there. Yesufu just 2 for 8 from 3 earlier this week in their loss against BYU. Had some looks down the stretch he'd probably like back. That was a tough loss for West Virginia. They led by 6 with 6:30 to play.
But West Virginia has been needing answers offensively other than Javon Small. And the one thing that I like is when he comes into the game, in Yesufu, he's looking to get shots up. In the last 3 games, he has had double-digit shot attempts. He is looking to be more aggressive offensively. And you can tell that's the message that DeVries has been preaching to him.
Celestine fouled on his way to the hoop. Eduardo Andres first.
And I think this is the difficulty in which this lineup for Baylor causes teams, is when you have Celestine at the 5, he is a perimeter player. He is really more of a 3 hybrid 4. So now you have to have your big Eduardo Andre slide his feet on the perimeter to get stops. And he's not used to doing that.
Celestine making his first start of his Baylor career tonight, a grad student transfer from Cal who played 4 years there. He's another one who's missed time with injury this year. 4 games with an ankle injury in early January. Javon Small was waiting for the ball there. Wasn't happy that Powell didn't give it to him at first.
Why didn't he just give him the ball immediately?
Tough catch for Okani. In the paint against Celestine. Turning, right hand, no roll. Edgecombe full head of steam. Jeremy Roach coming off the bench today. This is his first three-point attempt. Javon Small back to work. Still hasn't attempted a shot. Doesn't have an assist in this game either. 3 minutes without a field goal for West Virginia. Extra pass, Love, right where he hit the first one.
See if West Virginia offensively can find ways to get mismatches because Baylor switches everything. So see if they can get a guard on Andre to where they can lob it up and get an easy bucket.
Right now it's Edgecombe against Andre. Javon Small, though, has the matchup with Celestine. Wide open for Okani. There's the first assist for Small, second triple for Okani.
And that's just such a great play right there by Javon Small. Had the mismatch one-on-one, but the same side corner man slid over, threw it on time, on target, set his teammate up for success. Javon Small so good at dishing the ball.
Celestine with the answer.
And if I'm West Virginia, I might think about switching everything because when you drop Andre with Celestine at the 5, he can pop to the top of the key and knock down that jumper like we just saw.
Powell. Quick fire three, no good. Edgecombe pushing the tempo again. Langston Love downhill. 2 free throws coming up for Love.
Let's go back to this Javon Small play. You never help same side corner, but you see that he has a mismatch. Okani's not a great shooter, so you help in. Javon Small delivers it on time, and Okani is the recipient of a great pass.
What are you seeing teams do to Javon Small? He's only taken 9 shots the last 2 games. What's happening to him on the offensive end?
They limit his touches, and when he does have the basketball, they sink in. Because West Virginia is not a great three-point shooting team, that means you can help in various places. You know, when Harris is on the floor, when Okani is on the floor, you can help in different areas that you typically wouldn't help off of. So the help defense has gotten stronger, and they make it more difficult for him to get clean catches.
Small will take a rest here out of the under 12 timeout. Langston Love trying to make it 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Universal City, Texas, a redshirt junior, gets the roll to push the lead to 5. Baylor with 5 points off turnovers right out of the gates. West Virginia starting to take care of it a little bit better, but that's something Baylor's done well all season long, averaging 17 a game off turnovers. Okani against Wright. Too strong. Nice rebound by Omier. Nunn forced that 3. It was good defense by Yesufu fighting through the screen.
Right now, with Okani being guarded by Rob Wright, I would love to see Okani in the mid-post area going to work.
Directing traffic right now, sends Hansberry up top. He's got Wright on him now. Inside Okani, Omier was caught sleeping, and that's goaltending. West Virginia hanging tight on the road in Waco. 15-12, Baylor in front.
So we talked about Baylor playing this small guard lineup with Celestine at the 5, and this is the problem in which it poses. You see right here, Baylor gets into a ball screen with Celestine. Celestine picks and pops right there. Yesufu has to step up. If he does not step up and stunt to be able to get Andre time to get back, because Andre's in the drop coverage, then you will see Celestine knock this down time and time again. But you have to stunt on the weak side, and if you do not, Celestine is too good of a shooter to just let him roam free.
Some real positives Baylor can find in a tough situation with Joshua Jonwin out for the year with that knee injury. I mean, they are going to create some serious issues on this end.
And specifically in the pick and pop, and because you're not really playing with the true 5, that is why you might see West Virginia later on in this game switch everything 1 through 5.
Omier and Celestine out there for Baylor right now. Starting 5 minus Langston Love. Omier against Hansberry, falling away and still gets it to go.
And he's just so tough to stop one-on-one because he creates angles due to his physicality and his strength. One-on-one, Norchad Omier is hard to guard.
Javon Small still on the bench for West Virginia.
And this is the time West Virginia has to be able to generate offense. Where does that offense come from, especially when Tenor, Harris, Okani aren't great shooters and Baylor's playing a zone?
Okani leading the way with 8 points. Got to get a shot off here. Yesufu, deep 3. Nice rebound by Omier again. Omier's second rebound. He's 8 shy of passing Tim Duncan on the career rebound list. Mid-range jumper rims off. Harris up top for Okani. Oh, what a feed to Hansberry.
And that's where West Virginia has to be able to see, because a few possessions, I mean, they missed wide open mismatches down low where their bigs are being guarded by guards and they're sealed off. West Virginia's guards have to do a better job of locating the mismatches and delivering the ball where it needs to go to create easy points.
Edgecombe, 6 to shoot with Omier. Edgecombe looked awkward, but it was a good move to get open, then torn away by Tenor on the rebound. Hansberry against Omier. Javon Small at the table for West Virginia, waiting for the next whistle. Yesufu out for Tenor. Got himself into trouble, almost gave it away. Yesufu, left hand, falls off, offensive rebound, almost. It's Edgecombe on the ground. Great hustle play by the talented freshman.
And that's what you want to see from a guy like of his caliber. A top 5 draft pick. You want to see that level of hustle and that level of dedication to winning right there. Let's run that back and take a look, because I think BJ Edgecombe, talking to him, been able to sit down and conversate with him, all he cares about is winning, Chucky. That's why he makes plays like that. No matter if it's being able to guard the best player, score 15 to 20 points a game, all BJ Edgecombe wants to do is win, and that's what you look for in a prospect.
5-star recruit, number 3 on the ESPN 100. Well, big news for West Virginia. Hansberry now on the bench with 2 fouls. So Javon Small's back out there, but the Mountaineers are in some serious foul trouble with Hansberry having 2 and Eduardo Andre, who's on the floor for him, having 2. Small in 7 minutes, no points, hasn't attempted a field goal yet, and has just 1 assist. Powell misses on the second chance.
West Virginia just not being able to get anything going on the offensive side. You can tell that zone has really gotten them out of rhythm.
Nunn, baseline. Edgecombe, extra pass to Wright. Oh, what a move by Robert Wright.
And Chucky, why was that so open? Because Andre is now having to be on the perimeter, and it eliminates all of the rim protection with Celestine at the 5.
To shoot for KJ Tenner. The freshman inside. Harris driving. Contact, left hand off the glass.
That's just a strong drive right there by Harris. Seeking out the contact, not known as a shooter, puts his shoulder into the defensive player. That's how you attack the rim right there.
What a matchup this is, Small and Edgecombe. Celestine, deep 3. Rebound to Love, who just beat Powell to it. Wright in trouble, out for Edgecombe.
I think Javon Small has to get going, Chucky. They have to find ways to get Javon Small in scoring positions.
Gets Robert Wright, sidesteps, first shot for Small, no good. Defensively, though, that's where West Virginia has been excellent this season and in this game. That is number 3 on Eduardo Andre.
Rob Wright has been so good for Baylor. Just making it look easy. And then smile at the camera.
West Virginia up 5 at Baylor right now. They've made their last 5 shots. They're 3 for 3 from long range in the second half. Playing some really good basketball these last 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, the biggest difference between the second half or the first 4 minutes and the first half was that they're actually knocking down the shots that they got in the first half. They shot 3 for 17 in the first half, and now they're 3 for 3 to start the second half. They were getting good looks just like they've gotten in the first 4 minutes of this opening second half, but the difference is they're actually knocking them down, Chucky. And when West Virginia can knock down shots, they're tough because defensively they do a really good job staying in front, creating havoc, not allowing you to get into your offensive flow. They just struggle on the offensive side too many times.
West Virginia entering today have lost 5 of 7. They've just had a feel for the big win, though. They've beaten Gonzaga and Arizona and Atlantis early in the year when the expectation for this team was really low. They were picked 13th in the Big 12 preseason poll. Then they go to Kansas without Hansberry, without Tucker DeVries, and get their first ever win at Allen Fieldhouse. And we were in Morgantown a couple weeks ago when they knocked off then number 2 Iowa State.
And they play so hard, and defensively is where they get it done. I mean, they defend the 3 as good as anybody, not just in the conference, but in the country. One-on-one, they do a good job staying in front of the basketball. And Coach DeVries has to be pleased with the defensive effort that his team displays night in, night out.
One thing he'll have to manage from here on. Andre on the floor right now for Hansberry. Both of them with 3 fouls. Amani Hansberry picked up his 3rd just a couple minutes ago. Jeremy Roach splits the pair of free throws. Here comes some pressure from Baylor. Javon Small into the paint to Andre, who dropped it. It was a little behind him. Edgecombe pushing the tempo. Omier wants it. He was shouting for the ball.
Yeah, you have to feed him right there, especially with Andre in foul trouble and Norchad Omier inside the charge circle. You have to feed him that ball in transition.
Goes up. It was blocked from behind. Okani came in to help out Andre.
Yeah, that's on the guards of Baylor, because when you have that man that deep in the charge circle, you have to give it to him early on in the shot clock.
If if I asked the bigs you played with, they would have said you never missed them, right?
No. I probably did the same thing that we just saw the guards do.
So you've learned.
I had to learn now that I'm in this chair of what to do, but this is just a great steal right here by Omier. And a really good job by Andre not picking up that foul. Because especially with the thin front line of West Virginia, that could have been detrimental right there had Andre picked up that foul.
That's going to be tough for Eduardo, Andre, and Hansberry. Omier's such a smart player. Andre pulls down the rebound on the love miss. 14-5, West Virginia advantage in the second half. Andre has to put her on the ground. That's what Baylor wants. Roach with Nunn. Nunn flying at the rim. And one chance for Jaden Nunn.
A good steal. Great defense leads to easy offense. And Jaden Nunn off of 2 feet, finishing through contact. And one. And if you're Andre, you can't put the ball on the floor at 6'10", 6'11". That's not his specialty. That's not his strong suit. So as soon as he puts the ball on the floor, the guards of Baylor did a really good job of trying to get their hands in there to create a turnover, and they got one. But you have to know you can't do that if you're Andre.
Jeremy Roach with the steal, leading to the three-point play for Nunn. Baylor back within a point. West Virginia hasn't scored for about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Small in trouble, Hansberry. Powell. Whistle. Baylor can't believe it. They thought it was a jump ball.
And from our angle, it did look like a jump ball. But let's take another look and see if Jaden Nunn might have got contact elsewhere outside of the basketball. I mean, that's a tough angle. From that angle, it looked like he got all ball initially. That's a tough call.
Hansberry, bully ball, but missed it. Ripped away by O'Connor.
And that is where, if you're Baylor, you have to put an emphasis on blocking out with Celestine at the 5. As good as he is at picking and popping and creating advantage on the offensive side, defensively, they have to lock in and block out.
Celestine! Big time shot from Jalen Celestine.
We saw Jonathan Powell do it on one end. Now Celestine on the opposite side. That's just a tough shot, and Hansberry walking to contest. Might have hit him in the face.
That is 4 fouls on Amani Hansberry with 13.5 minutes to play.
But for West Virginia, this might not be the worst thing in the world, because I'm surprised we didn't see this earlier. Putting O'Connor at the 5 to be able to match up with Celestine, because O'Connor is also a hybrid 4, really more of a wing player. Same thing like Celestine. So now it's an even battle when you look at really 5 perimeter players on both teams on the floor currently.
West Virginia's found ways to win all year. They've not been a great rebounding team, so this necessarily isn't new to them. Powell. Rebound Roach. Jaden Nunn inside. He is just stripped from him. Looked like originally there was going to be a foul call inbound underneath for the Bears.
And Chucky, with 5 perimeter players on the court for both teams, this is the time in which players just have to make plays. Your guards have to do a really good job being strong on the drive and creating advantages off of putting your head down and just making the right play, because both teams will look to switch everything 1 through 5.
Edgecombe, second chance. No, they got 2 good looks from 3. Yesufu, blocked by Langston Love. Roach downhill. No, the putback by Edgecombe. Roach and Okani both on the floor.
Let's go back to the block that led to the transition bucket. Good, strong drive right here, but you're driving into two people. Might have gotten away with the foul. Nonetheless, they didn't call it. You're on the road. And VJ Edgecombe just doing what VJ Edgecombe does.
6-0 run for Baylor. Edgecombe, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
And now we're seeing a little bit of chess right now because Baylor, Coach Scott Drew inserted Norchad Omier into the ball game. And Coach DeVries did not like that because they have Okani at the 5. So what does he do? He substitutes Andre in the game to be able to match up with the physicality of Norchad Omier at that 5 spot. Good decision right there by Coach DeVries.
They break the pressure. Powell up top for Andre, but played nicely by Omier, and it's a turnover.
Not a good decision right there by Powell. Would have liked him to take one extra dribble to really make Norchad commit. You don't throw the lob pass unless the big fully commits towards you. He hadn't made his decision. I would have liked Powell to go drive and go get the layup, but just a bad decision right there by Powell.
Quick spell for Javon Small ahead of the under-12 media timeout. Right away from the screen. Omier around Andre. The easy layup. Crowd into it, an 8-0 run. Jump ball belongs with West Virginia. Mountaineers a little out of sorts right now, and Baylor back in front by 5. Thanks, guys. Houston at Arizona today. Huge game there over on ESPN right now. Here in Waco, it's 7 ties, 8 lead changes between West Virginia and Baylor.
And I love hearing Kevin Connor's voice. You know what's interesting? I play college football a lot, and every single time it's halftime, it's now we're taking it to the studio with Kevin Connors, and I love hearing it. I love KC.
He's a star, man. He's a star. I feel unworthy that he's even throwing it back to us here.
I love KC, man.
Javon Small to tie it, and he does. How about this for Javon Small, King? He started his career at East Carolina 4 years ago. Averaged 2 points per game and 9 minutes per game as a freshman at East Carolina. Year 2, he jumps up to 16 points per game, but his season ends early with a leg injury. Oklahoma State last year, and then he just keeps getting better. This is a career year for him on the biggest stage in tough circumstances with Tucker DeVries being hurt.
And Javon Small is the perfect example of when the transfer portal can be good, because he just continued to climb and continue to work and get better, stay at a program for multiple years, and just continue to put your head down and work on your craft. And as you continue to get better, now you're in big moments like this in the Big 12, playing with West Virginia, able to make plays like this. One-on-one, they are attacking Norchad Omier. When you attack Norchad Omier, that means the backside has to be able to load up to help, because they don't want to give him easy rain to the rim. He does a good job of finding Hansberry when he moves to the opposite side of the block.
Hansberry out there with 4 fouls. That's just his 2nd bucket of the night, but a big one to put West Virginia up 2. Misses the free throw.
If you're Baylor right now, I would look to attack Hansberry. Playing with 4 fouls, he will be extremely limited and hesitant to contest on the backside.
Edgecombe spinning, has a good matchup, waves off Celestine. Trying to go to O'Meara, now Rob Wright. Inside, long stride, what a finish by Rob Wright!
His change of pace, his first step is absolutely elite, and when he gets to the rim, has such great touch.
Small wanted it right back. Step back on O'Meara was tipped. O'Connie pulls it down, but it's stripped. Long pass forward for O'Meara, too far, and it's 5-on-4 the other direction. Small, downhill, hands off for O'Connie, who slipped. It's Baylor ball, but they want to clean up the court now because O'Connie lost his footing underneath.
Let's take a look at this. Good pass right here by Javon Small. But because of the wet spot, O'Connie's not able to finish. And I mean, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. That right foot right there slipped forward, which prohibited O'Connie from getting the layup and scoring. But the play before that, when Rob Wright had Norchad O'Meara running down the lane, as a freshman, you have to know you can't always make the home run play. Especially with 2 minutes to go in this ball game, you have to value the possession. Don't make home runs.
Fortunately, O'Connie wasn't injured on that play. It's devastating for West Virginia not to get that bucket, but he stays on the floor. Powell whistled for the reach-in. 8th team foul on West Virginia. Langston Love going to the free throw line. How we got to this point. Baylor, a team that really is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the conference, not doing that today. Toby O'Connie with 19 for West Virginia. Javon Small's been big as well. Norchad O'Meara leads the way for Baylor with 16 and 8. He's 2 rebounds away from passing Tim Duncan on the all-time list.
And you talk about Baylor not shooting the 3 well that's primarily due to West Virginia's defense. That is what they do, Chucky. They are 10th in the country in defensive 3-point field goal percentage, 2nd in conference. They do a good job of running you off, not allowing easy looks, and if they do, they contest it. But that is their MO. That is who they are. They defend the 3-point line as well as almost anybody in the country.
2 minutes to play in Waco. West Virginia trailing by 2. Javon Small almost wrapped up by O'Meara from behind. That's going to be the 4th on O'Meara if that's who they got it on.
And I just don't think that this was a smart foul by O'Meara, especially with the way that he fouled Javon Small going to the rim. They're going to the monitor to take a look at this, and I mean, the foul that O'Meara committed, it just looks a little wild.
Previous play is under review.
And I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't think it's nothing, I don't think it's a flagrant one or anything, but the referees have been known to make, interesting calls, but we have a veteran crew and they'll clean this up. However, I just don't love the foul right there by O'Meara. If you're going to try to swipe from behind, swipe up. No need to swipe down the way that he did it.
It was just weird watching in real time, especially that late when he's going up for the shot.
I mean, if the referees were to upgrade this, I could see why, because he's not really making a play on the basketball. You would love for O'Meara to be able to meet him at the top and try to swipe up, but when he brings the arm down, that's where the referees could possibly upgrade this. But I don't think they will. We'll see.
All 3 of them are going to take a look at it. This is a big moment in this game. Scott Drew talks things over. We've been back and forth all day long here in Waco. King, this is kind of what West Virginia's done this year. It seems like when their backs are most against the wall, they've been in foul trouble all day long. They've lost 5 of their last 7. This is when they're at their best.
After review, common foul on the play.
Ball games, even when their offense really isn't rolling, because defensively they are really, really elite. They guard you, they stay in front, and I don't think that this was upgraded, which I agree with. I agree with that. I don't think it was upgraded. It did look a little weird, but I agree with what the referees just called. It's a regular foul.
Still notable because it's number 4 on Omier. Nunn has 4 on the bench right now for Baylor. Small, a chance to tie it at the line. Gets the first one. Tomorrow on ABC, an outstanding women's college basketball doubleheader, starting with a Sonic blockbuster at 1 Eastern. Number 7, UConn. Number 4, South Carolina. And then a top 5 matchup at 3 between LSU and Texas. Coverage beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN with the College Game Day crew live on site in Columbia.
Texas, one of the hottest teams in the country on the women's side. Rory Harmon has those girls rolling.
You do not want her to pick you up full court defensively. Javon Small ties it, 63 apiece. Where are you looking offensively if you're Baylor right now?
No chat on there. One-on-one or a ball screen with Hansberry in it. And right there, you get the pin down with Rob Wright trying to curl, which makes it tough because Hansberry cannot be aggressive when it comes to the rim protection.
Rob Wright hasn't missed a shot today. 13 points, 6 for 6 from the field. Timeout, West Virginia. We'll stay right here with 1:21 to play.
Let's take a look at this right here. On the curl, Rob Wright just gets downhill. Hansberry doesn't fully show. But Rob Wright does such a good job of living in the paint.
He kind of gets, I mean, at the beginning of the season overlooked a little because Edgecombe was the number 3 on the ESPN 100, but Robert Wright was number 24. This kid's already a star. Shown up in some big moments for Baylor this season. He's approaching the Baylor freshman record for assists.
He's an elite level point guard, and you know, I'm interested to see right here, does Scott Drew come back out in zone? Darren DeVries called the timeout because he didn't like what he got, what he was about to get offensively, because Baylor came out in the zone. So because he called the timeout and they think that Baylor is going to play zone, let's see if Scott Drew plays a chess match and matches up and goes man.
Such an evenly matched game today when you look at all the numbers in the box score. Almost identical.
And they stay in the zone. So let's see what Darren DeVries draws out of this timeout.
6 to shoot. Javon Small gonna try and make a play. Yesufu, deep 3, no good. Long rebound. Okani fighting for it. Baylor ball.
But they will go to the monitor to take a look at this.
Last 2 minutes, so it's reviewable.
Out of bounds play is under review.
Big call. West Virginia's bench was pretty adamant that it was theirs. Not that they wouldn't be otherwise. Or anyone, for that matter.
I'm about to say, Chucky, what do you expect? From that angle, it's a little hard to see. This might be a better angle right here.
Was that Celestine's fingertips that got in there? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell.
The call on the floor, as important as ever in this situation, if those are the looks, because there's just nothing definitive in that.
I would imagine because it's so close, and because it's really hard to tell, they would have to stay Baylor basketball, because like you said, there's nothing definitive that would say otherwise.
What are these timeouts like? Darren DeVries and Scott Drew, are you getting two scenarios as a player here from your coaches?
Yeah, so if Scott Drew for Baylor, if it is your basketball, hey, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to execute offensively. And for Darren DeVries, you have to have two scenarios. And if for Scott Drew defensively, you want to go back to the zone because you've had success. But for West Virginia, if it is their ball, here's what we're going to draw up. If it's not their ball, I mean, with a minute and two, you have a full 30, you're only down by 2. You want to play it out and you want to get a stop. Well, we have another angle, and let's see. They just called Baylor basketball.
There wasn't enough video evidence to overturn the
Celestine's
call.
arm that does push it, but it's just a matter of if Okani's fingers are on the other side of that, and there just isn't a conclusive look.
And they're saying, Marcus Pettigrew saying that Okani hit it out last based off what they saw. But I truly think they couldn't tell, so they had to stick with their original call because there was nothing definitive.
1:02 to play. Baylor ball. The freshman Robert Wright III has scored 8 of their last 13 points. Hansberry guarding Omier with 4 fouls. Both of them have 4 fouls. Edgecombe says not yet to Langston Love. Now he takes the screen. Edgecombe carving inside, stepping through, tough shot, rolls off, and Omier fighting with Hansberry, who pulls it down and is fouled forever away from the basket and will go to the line.
And that right there is just a great defensive possession. That is who West Virginia is defensively. They make it tough. They stay in front of the basketball, and Hansberry, as big of a rebound as you will see all night, because Omier had the inside position to be able to secure that rebound. But that whole possession right there by West Virginia on the defensive side is who they are. One-on-one. They did a really good job not allowing VJ Edgecombe to have any angles. Then they secured the rebound right there. Darren DeVries has to hang his hat on that right there.
The 80% free throw shooter Hansberry knocks down the first against the sheer will of Foster Pavilion in Waco, Texas, to tie it. That is ice in his veins and a little shush for the student section. Three-second differential between the shot and game clock. Scott Drew will take a timeout. Isn't this fun?
It is.
Oh, man.
It is.
What a game so far. Well, who will it be for Baylor? Norchad Omier's had a big night, King, 16 points.
And he just does what he's had to do. Averaging 18 in the last 4. Does a good job creating angles due to his strength defensively. We've seen him step up tonight. But in this last possession, I mean, Omier is a guy who I would go to, but I like Rob Wright and Norchad Omier in a pick and roll. Either in a pick and roll or what we saw earlier with the pin down to allow Rob Wright to be able to curl and get towards the rim. But I would want to put Amani Hansberry in some type of action defensively, because if he fouls, he is out. So he's a little bit timid to foul. So I would like to see them try to go at Hansberry due to his foul trouble.
For West Virginia, quad 1 victory on the line. For Baylor, a chance to improve to 12-1 inside their new building, their first full season here at Foster Pavilion. .24.5 seconds. It's actually about a 4 to 4.5 second differential between the shot and game clock. Well, they just altered the shot clock to 21, so 3.5 second differential. Robert Wright directing traffic, 10 on the shot clock. Omier watching the shot clock at the other end. Right at Harris, spinning, right, adjusts the body, rolls off. Okani has the rebound. Loose ball, heaved at midcourt. No good, and we're going to overtime in Waco. Jonathan Patty at Iowa State at the conclusion of this one. Omier wins the tip. West Virginia going with Okani and Hansberry out there. DJ Edgecombe has been really quiet, scoring the ball, just 7 points, hasn't scored for a long time for the Bears. Small guarding him, Omier sets the screen. Edgecombe, no, Okani rebounds.
That's just a great job right there by Hansberry to wall up. Do not bring your hands down, go up vertically and get the contest.
Okani went up for the rebound. I'm gonna say it was off Okani, who thought it got tipped by a Baylor player. It actually did. It looked like one of the Bears came in and tipped that out of Okani's outstretched arm. Aaron DeVries not happy about that call. Great defense from West Virginia. 4 seconds, Edgecombe. Tough shot, offensive rebound. Omier, shot clock violation. Did it hit the rim? That's the question. And a conversation by the officials now. I thought originally it did graze the rim on the backside.
Previous players on the review.
And what's more impressive right there was the one-on-one defense by West Virginia. Well, let's take a look at this to see if it might have grazed the rim.
I think so.
Yeah, that looks like that touched the rim. The rim shook a little bit. It looks like that grazed the rim. That's a tough angle.
That first view showed the rim, though, bending a little bit in that corner.
Yeah, it looked like it definitely hit the rim.
Omier's 9th rebound.
You just
ties Tim Duncan.
But you see right there, you talk about the rebounding. I mean, despite the shot clock violation, that they did call a shot clock violation. And it looked like from our view that first one we saw, like it might have grazed the rim, but the referees called a shot clock violation, which is impressive for West Virginia because of the way that they defended and they were able to cause that violation.
They just showed the first look we had, the above the rim angle on the big screen here. Scott Drew saw it, couldn't believe it. But we move on, 65 apiece, crowd back to their feet. Okani at the high post. Powell driving at Omier, contact, Powell gets his own miss, flipped around, and finally pulled in by Celestine. This finish not for the faint of heart. No one has scored in 2 minutes of overtime. Langston Love can't finish on the layup, but a late whistle against Okani.
That might have been on Hansberry. Look at this. Norchad Omier does such a good job of creating inside post position. Kind of holds his arm. And I think they called this foul. Well, they called it on Okani. They called it on Okani. Away from that possession. Because Hansberry originally thought it was on him.
Third foul on Okani. Love gives Baylor the lead. Langston Love has 14, Wright has 13, Omier with 16. Langston Love 10 for 10 at the free throw line tonight. O'Connor at the elbow, right back for Small. So much patience, short on the three-pointer.
You got a good look. Devon Small was able to create some separation, took his time, extremely patient. Just missed it, but you got a good look if you're West Virginia.
Omier working against Hansberry for position. They get it to him. At Hansberry, too strong, rebound Powell.
But I like the intention right there. Go with Hansberry because you know that he is extremely timid, not wanting to pick up his fourth foul. His fifth foul.
O'Connor, floater, rims off, and Hansberry couldn't corral it. And they say West Virginia ball this time. It's been that corner, been a couple of them down there.
Let's take a look at this right here. Oh yeah, that clearly went off on Hansberry. But it's not under 2 minutes, so you cannot go to the monitor to review it.
Now we're in the review window. Hansberry, turnaround, rims off. How many people in this building just said ball don't lie? Minute 40 to play in overtime. Wright goes to the ground. Yesufu doesn't like it. But it's 2 free throws for Robert Wright III.
And that's one thing that Rob Wright does so great. As soon as he feels contact, yes, Yesufu hit him a little excessively right there, but as soon as he feels a little bit of contact, Rob Wright on drives will throw his head back. That's something that the referees were punishing a few years back. But really good guards, you see this at high-level guards. When they get the contact on the bump, they throw their head back to sell the foul. And right there, Yesufu clearly fouled him. But Rob Wright on contact does that every single time he drives.
Up to 14 points can make it a 2-possession game. That's the roll. West Virginia still hasn't scored in the overtime period. Now or never for the Mountaineers. 90 seconds to play. Hansberry over Omier, who has to be careful with 4 fouls.
That was just a great seal right there by Hansberry. And Omier did a really good job not picking up that 5th foul despite being ducked in.
Taking their time. 12 to shoot for Langston Love against the freshman Powell. Great defense, but a late whistle comes in, and Langston Love back to the line. Already a perfect 10 for 10 there today.
Part of the reason why Langston Love lives at the free throw line is because on the drive, he plays so low. He's hard to guard because he gets lower than the defender, which allows him to have those angles, and then when he gets that angle, he is able to get through, get to your chest, seek out the contact. And a lot of guards aren't used to that level of physicality.
Langston Love has 16. He scored at least 15 each of his 3 games back from injury. Missed 4 games early in the season, then a 10-game stretch over the last month or so. 12 for 12 at the free throw line for Langston Love. A 73% free throw shooter coming into today. What a performance from a kid who's been through so much from an injury standpoint throughout his career to try to lift Baylor over West Virginia. For Darren DeVries and company, what's the conversation like right now under 53 seconds?
Well, I like what they just did on the last possession. be able to duck in Hansberry. And we saw it earlier when Baylor played the zone. They looked for Hansberry on the post-up and had Okani at the free throw line, knowing that Baylor was going to front that, and they were able to get a 2-on-1 on the backside. I'm surprised they have not gone back to that. But I like something with Hansberry ducking in Norchad Omier, because they know, just like Hansberry has been timid as rim protection on the defensive side, they know that Norchad Omier is doing the same thing. And we saw it last possession. Norchad Omier does not want to foul. So go to Hansberry, look at him as far as ducking in or doing something along the lines of that. But finding a way to be able to get an easy, quick one with a 2-possession ball game with 52 seconds, you have to get a quick shot right now.
West Virginia goes back home on Wednesday to host Cincinnati. For Baylor, it's Arizona on Big Monday on ESPN. Huge matchup in this building in just a couple days, and Baylor are going to put even extra miles on the legs with just a day of rest in between games. For one of these teams, going to be a lot sweeter, though.
And you know what's interesting, Chucky, is when a guy like Jeremy Roach, who has played in so many games, so many big games at that, has sat the whole overtime. I mean, he is a veteran guy at Duke who we've seen him in countless amount of big games and has had tremendous success. But Scott Drew trusts his freshmen so much that he is rolling with the young guys.
B.J. Edgecombe and Langston Love have each played over 40 minutes. Javon Small, he's played over 40. Right to the hoop and lays it in. They've gone at Omier, and it's just been little resistance.
And that's what you wanted. You wanted a quick one so that right now there's a 13-second discrepancy. You don't necessarily have to foul.
They do foul Omier quickly, though. He's 4 for 4 at the line tonight. A 75% free throw shooter. Tied himself with Tim Duncan tonight on the all-time rebounds list. One more to pass him. He's made 31 of his last 34 at the free throw line over the last 5 games. Hansberry, that was his 5th foul that he just picked up. So it's Eduardo Andre in for West Virginia.
And I don't necessarily know if I love that foul right there, which I guess they love it now because it paid off. But I think West Virginia is good enough defensively to be able to get a stop, especially with only a 1-possession ball game down 2.
Omier 1 for 2 at the line. 3-point game.
You do not need a 3 right now, Chucky. You need to go quick, but you do not need to settle for a really bad 3.
One of the best players in the country with it. Small, across for Powell. Tough pass and misses. Now they've got a foul, and it's Robert Wright who they're going to send to the line.
You didn't need a 3 in that scenario. Nonetheless, if it's as wide open as Powell was right there, you are living with that shot. And if you're Darren DeVries, you're okay with that look because it was wide open.
Tough pass for Powell to handle kind of at his feet, and took him a second to gather himself. He's kind of clapping his hands together, wishing he had that one back. Robert Wright, that's the important one to make it a 2-possession game.
Powell has not shot it great tonight. 1 for 9 from the 3-point line. There's a lot of them that he got great looks. And I know he wants some of those back. You need him to be able to knock down shots, especially with the offense that at times struggles.
Small looking for a shot. He is bumped. Javon Small going to shoot 2 free throws here. West Virginia will take it. Foul against Celestine. 4 of 6 at the line today. He's got 21 points now. If you're Baylor, as far as who's going to go to the line, it hasn't really mattered so far. They're 26 of 30 at the stripe.
And ideally, you would want to foul O'Meara in this scenario. And I like this substitution, bringing Cynthia Harris on the floor for Andre, because you want to try to go for a quick steal right here, Chucky. You want to go for a quick steal, but you cannot allow anything less than 10 seconds to be on that clock.
Edgecombe killing a little time, breaks the pressure and spins out of it. And a lot of time coming off the clock right now. Celestine is who will go to the free throw line. He's a great free throw shooter as well.
And Darren DeVries turned around, threw his arm in the air because he was extremely upset with them not fouling earlier. Way too much time went off that clock. You wanted at least 10 seconds on this clock, but you now are at pretty much 5.96 seconds on the clock. Way too much time.
Celestine, an 84% free throw shooter. Gets the first one. This could all but seal it right here if the transfer from Cal can knock down this free throw. Darren DeVries wants to talk about it first.
Partially trying to ice the shooter, calls the free throw strategically in between to be able to now have Celestine think about it a little bit and get him out of his rhythm after he knocks down the first one. But also, if he does miss, they're drawing up a play, drawing up something in which you can get a quick shot within this 6-second window.
We'll get you to Ames, Iowa next. Cincinnati, Iowa State with Roxy Bernstein and Chris Spatola. Big thank you to Chris Damiani and Morgan Lubin leading our crew in Waco today. Alongside King McClure, I'm Chucky Kemp. A Baylor legend, Tommy Bowman, sitting there looking on as Jalen Celestine has a chance to send the folks in Waco home happy. Baylor looking for their 8th Big 12 win of the season. They've won 8 or more Big 12 games in 13 straight years. You talk about consistency in one of the toughest conferences in the country. The Mountaineers hoping for a chance. No good, and O'Meara almost had the rebound. Clock's ticking. Powell calls a timeout with 3.3 on the clock. Here we go, a chance for West Virginia.
Let's take a look at this right here. Norchad O'Meara just does a great job getting to the opposite side, but doesn't secure the rebound. And great awareness right there by Javon Small as soon as you secure the possession to call timeout with 3 seconds to go.
Take us through this 3 seconds. What are they looking for?
Well, the ball would probably be, it will be on the baseline because you cannot advance, which is something I feel like moving forward we should be able to do in college basketball. You should be able to advance the ball, but you have to draw something quick. I would imagine you throw a lob pass, you throw an overhead pass to where Andre can catch it because he's the tallest person on the floor, and immediately on the catch, he is turning to find a shooter. Typically, the shooters would cross or maybe a back screen to where as soon as Andre catches it, now you're locating the open man, knowing he knows where it would look to be able to deliver the ball to. But that's what you have to do. You have to have something drawn up to where Andre can catch it and be able to locate a shooter immediately, because 3 seconds is not a lot of time.
Almost 5 minutes of overtime. We haven't had a field goal made. 15 combined points have all come at the free throw line. West Virginia needs a triple to keep this game alive. Looking for their 7th straight victory over West Virginia. small, the closest to the ball for the Mountaineers. Scott Drew sees the play and he says, all right, let's talk it over.
Seeing the alignment that he saw. Wanted to see how West Virginia would come out. Now, does Darian DeVries come out with the same alignment, the same play? Or does he once again play chess and decide to have a different offensive play to throw Baylor off a little bit?
Tucker DeVries getting in on that conversation as well. And man, would they love to have a guy like him in a moment like this.
I feel like the shot has to come from none other than Javon Small, but that's pretty much what Baylor expects. So do not be surprised, despite Powell not shooting it great, don't be surprised if Powell or Yesufu end up taking this last shot, because I know that Baylor will be keying in on Javon Small because they know that in these moments, big players hit big shots.
West Virginia 0 for 2 on game-tying or go-ahead field goal attempts this year, under 10 seconds.
So West Virginia switches up their alignment. And they came out with a new play because now Yesufu is at the half-court line. And earlier, Yesufu was taking the ball out. They did that intentionally. They came out in the wrong alignment to throw Baylor off. But they're going to run the same exact play. Smart job by Darian DeVries to try to throw off Baylor.
Yesufu inbounding, fakes the full court pass. Okani is fouled immediately. This is the rule that so many love. You gotta foul up 3 late, and this will put Okani at the free throw line for 2 shots.
And the good thing about that foul was that Okani's back was not towards the rim. It was facing the opposite direction, because typically a lot of coaches get hesitant to not foul when you're down 3 because a lot of players are good at deceiving the refs. They're good at, if they're facing towards the rim, they can try to act like they're shooting, which then gives you 3 free throws. But with Okani's back towards the basket, now when you foul, that's a really smart play right there by Omer, despite him picking up his 5th. But that's when you want to foul. When the back is turned towards the basket, that's when you want to foul, when you're up 3.
The message to Okani here, you make the first, you miss the second.
And ideally, that would be perfect right now because you have the height advantage with Andre on Celestine. So you have to make this first one. But typically, we used to learn how to miss. We have to practice how to miss. But now it goes out the window because you missed the first. So with you being down 3, now you have to miss this one and hope that Andre can get a tip to Yesufu or get it to Small.
Okani missed short, and a fight for the rebound. It's Jaden Nunn securing the win for Baylor. What a game.